More Epstein files have been released. The Epstein photos are like LinkedIn. Everyone you hate is there. Not all of the files have been released. The full release has been delayed. The full Epstein files are like a Frank Ocean album. Delayed and also a love story about a boy. The Department of Justice built what they called the Epstein Library. Trump gave him a library? And when you log on to search it, it asks if you're a robot. That is to deter Marco Rubio from being able to look at it because they aren't PG-13. It then puts you into a queue. I feel like I'm in line to buy Coachella tickets. Now, the release allows you to search for specific individuals' names. And when I tried to search Trump's name, it says there is nothing. Then what are all of those? But I went ahead and scrolled through many of the images, and a few have stuck out. Like Michael Jackson is seen standing next to Bill Clinton. Do you know how f***ed up of a situation you have to be in for Michael Jackson to look traumatized? Also, is that skinny Oprah? Bill Gates was also spotted in these photos with a very uncomfortable woman. I also would be uncomfortable if I met the person who thought Microsoft Outlook was good. Bill Clinton is seen in them again. Chris Tucker is also in them, and he even realizes being at a Diddy party might have been safer. Bill Clinton again, but also this time with Mick Jagger. And then Epstein's office is also shown, and it looks like the Oval Office shares the same designer. And I think I know who that designer is. Yes, that was found in Epstein's desk drawers, which has now been taken off of the Epstein Files site. Oh, but we caught it. The grand jury documents were also released. Yes, that is real. They're all blacked out more than the last time I was in Vegas. All the files are heavily redacted. Fox News even has discovered that the redactions don't just apply to the victims, but the politicians and officials that would be impacted. Which, to be fair, the politicians that are in these photos are victims of their own crimes. But hey, don't think about it too much, because if you don't think,
nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
This is concerning because the law that was passed that said in 30 days, all the files must be released and without redactions, which they violated both. They say more will be released and complain it just wasn't enough time, which makes no sense. If you put Kash Patel on the case, he can scan 84 documents at once with those eyes. This delay means the Trump administration has broken the law, and a lot of people are not happy with the handling of the files. So much so, one member of the FBI resigned. And the White House Chief of Staff has recently said that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General in charge of the Epstein Files, also the evil version of Leslie Knope, handled the Epstein Files horribly, which means we may know her fate soon.
You're fired. Get out of here.
Welcome to the Death Side Rants. I'm your host, Gary. The Brown University conspiracy is weird. There was an event that happened at Brown University that resulted in 2 victims, and a few days later, an MIT professor was alt-deleted, and apparently these are connected. This sparked a nationwide manhunt by the FBI, and they were hard at work to catch the one responsible.
We are so excited to be joined by Kash and his beautiful girlfriend, Alexis. Where's her ring? Just to clarify, how often has he traveled to see you since January 20th? Has there been one moment where you're like, you can't make this up?
Does the FBI only hire people with podcasts? Now, with an attack on college, you expect there to be many cameras, but conveniently, no, there wasn't. Did you guys hire the same camera system that was outside of Epstein's cell? I'm just saying, this is a little weird. But after just a couple days while the suspect was at large, I mean, physically and metaphorically, a Reddit comment gave the police a tip. Yes, someone on Reddit finally had a useful comment, and that is the most frustrating thing about all of this. Those fedora-wearing freaks now think they're going to get another cringy Netflix movie about them. And the police did an interview with him. So let's learn a little bit about the guy who solved the case.
Opened by a homeless man who goes by John.
A homeless man who somehow had a phone and a Reddit account, wrote down the license plate of the suspect's car, who ended up switching the plates of his car later on, was able to help the FBI track the suspect down across multiple states. You're telling me some dude with no money at the school solved this? Is this Goodwill Hunting? In the early days of the investigation, the FBI and police did release a name of a potential suspect. Turns out they got it wrong, and it was just some innocent student who was already just trying to get through finals, who now has to live through hell. You think you'd be able to see this better, Kash Patel? It was also revealed that the suspect was using a phone that was not trackable. They make those? Is my investment in Palantir even safe? And they found him in a storage unit, self-deleted, allegedly. But this is where it gets weirder. The criminal and the MIT professor, who unfortunately was unalived, went to college together in Portugal like 20 years ago. And that professor was working on nuclear fusion technology. But there still is no motive released. But that's probably because the CIA is on Christmas break. So expect a motive written up after New Year's. Trump posted his tweets on the White House. Trump set up plaques of past presidents called the Presidential Walk of Fame. Ow. You have probably seen it. It's where Biden is in auto pen. But Trump has now added descriptions below them. Bill Clinton's plaque says, "I miss you, what you doing later, Bubba." Okay, I made that one up, but it's probably what Trump wanted to say. Obama's mentioned he was a one-term senator and most divisive political figure in US history. Now, I don't really care for Obama. I was 13 when he got elected. All I cared about was Call of Duty and riding my bike. But to call him a first-term senator is kind of funny, because he did leave out that guy never lost a presidential election.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy.
Biden starts with Sleepy Joe Biden and is called Sleepy a second time. He goes on to call him Crooked Joe and basically blames everything on him. Basically, he just took one of his speeches and copy and pasted it in there. He went after Jimmy Carter, where he said his presidency was marked by high inflation, high unemployment, and rising misery index. And that was the photo used for the plaque. And Trump did go after the funniest president to ever live, George Bush, and saying he dragged the US into wars in the Middle East. Now, Bush did that because he said there was WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, in the Middle East, which sounds familiar. I recently heard something like that. And that's what makes George Bush the GOAT. The LeBron of wars, the Shakespeare of speeches, because he had a saying that applies this to the very Venezuela war obsession Trump has.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.